Title, My dead wife just left me a voicemail and it wasn't a mistake. Last night started like any other. I came home from work, reheated leftover pasta, fed our cat Lucy, and sat down to watch mindless television. The kind of nights that used to feel lonelier. Not anymore. I've made peace with her absence, or so I thought. At exactly 11:08 p.m. my phone vibrated. Voicemail received, unknown number. That was odd. I hadn't heard it ring. I stared at the screen. The call log said the voicemail had been left by Maya, my wife, dead wife, the one who died 3 years ago today. I didn't believe it at first. I thought maybe it was an old recording, some glitch or a cruel prank. But then I saw the number, her old number, disconnected the day after her funeral. I know because I stood there at the phone store and watched them deactivate it. My stomach twisted into a knot. My hands trembled as I tapped the message. And then I heard it, static, heavy breathing. Then faintly, David, please, please help me. They lied. I'm not dead. I'm not where I'm supposed to be, please. Find me before they do. Then a crash, screaming, and the message cut off. I replayed it 5 times, each more agonizing than the last. I sat frozen, heart pounding in my chest like a war drum. That was her voice. Not a recording, not synthesized. I'd know her tone anywhere, that subtle panic she got when she was trying not to cry. The way she said my name like it was the only lifeline she had left. It wasn't a hallucination. I saved the audio, backed it up to the cloud, and emailed it to myself. I even ran it through a voice ID app I'd used for work before. The match came back, 98.7% confidence. It was Maya. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I dug through old files, old photos, old texts. Anything that could tell me where that message might have come from, or what it could mean. Then I remembered something strange from her autopsy report. Maya's body was never shown to me. They claimed it was badly burned beyond recognition. I believed them. I was too broken to fight it. But what if that wasn't her? Morning came. I called the detective who handled her case, Detective Lynn Morales. Retired now, but she still answered my call. David, Jesus, I haven't heard from you in years. I got a voicemail from Maya's number. Is this a joke? No. It's her voice. I need to know if you ever confirmed the identity of the body. Was there DNA, dental records? There was a long silence. We were under pressure to close the case quickly, she finally admitted. The car was totaled, burned. There was a body, yes, but no dental or DNA, just the ring, and the necklace you said she always wore. I remember nodding back then, broken and desperate to believe it. But now I felt like I had buried a lie. I took the voicemail to a tech friend. He isolated background noise, ran a filter, he found something. A voice in the background, male, whispering, not yet, not yet. And what sounded like a train horn. There are no trains near where Maya died. But there is a decommissioned train station 40 miles north, one she used to volunteer at back when it was a community center. I drove there. The place was boarded up, forgotten. A rusted chain locked the gate, but that didn't stop me. I climbed over the fence, flashlight in hand, heart pounding. Inside, it was dark, dusty, and eerily silent until I reached the platform. A phone sat there. Her phone. Same wallpaper, a photo of us. Same cracked screen from the day she dropped it hiking. It lit up, one new voicemail. I pressed play. David, I don't know how long I've been here. They keep moving me. They said I died. They made everyone believe it. But I'm not dead, not yet. Find the man with the scar. He knows. Please. I'm so cold. Then static again. I dropped the phone. Behind me, something moved. I turned, expecting maybe a rat. Instead, I saw a man, long trench coat, face hidden under a hood, but I caught a glimpse of his neck. A thick scar running ear to collarbone. He didn't speak, just pointed to a door behind him. I just want answers, I said, shaking. He unlocked the door, motioned for me to enter. I did. It was a room full of missing persons files, photos, timelines, maps, and at the center a board titled Project Echo. Dozens of names, including Maya's. She wasn't dead. She had been taken. And if that voicemail was right, I wasn't just racing against time, I was racing against whoever wanted to keep her silent. And they knew I was coming, because as I turned to ask the man more questions, he was gone. Update, I'm posting this in case something happens to me. If you've ever lost someone in a mysterious accident, dig deeper. If you've ever heard from someone you thought was dead, don't ignore it. I'm going back tonight. And I'm not leaving without her. I didn't sleep. Again. After what I found at that abandoned train station, Maya's phone, the files, the man with the scar, I drove home with my brain spinning like a carousel on fire. What the hell was Project Echo? I backed up photos of every file, map, and note I could snap before the hooded man vanished. My apartment walls were now covered with blurry printouts and red string like a scene from a conspiracy thriller. And in the center, a photo of Maya circled in red ink. Labeled, Subject 42, status contained echo positive. The next day, I contacted someone who could help. Noah Vega, ex-military, now a private investigator. We weren't close, but he owed me a favor. Years ago, I pulled him out of a bar brawl and saved him from jail. Today, he returned that favor. He looked over the materials in silence, eyebrows knit tight. This is government, he finally muttered. Or ex-government, black site stuff, human experimentation, project names, code names, minimal documentation. Classic spook protocol. But what the hell is an echo positive? He didn't answer. Instead, he pointed at a photo in the files. Recognize her? It was Maya strapped to a hospital bed, eyes wide with fear. The timestamp read 2 months ago. Noah worked fast. Within 2 days, he traced the metadata from the voicemail and cross-referenced satellite pings. One source pointed to a private compound buried in the forests of Oregon, registered under a fake corporate shell. That's your ghost site, Noah said. It's where they're holding her. That night we packed, flashlights, bolt cutters, a Glock Noah insisted I carry. I barely slept. By dawn, we were on the road. 3 days later, we reached the compound. Surrounded by electric fences, guard towers, and security cameras. The place didn't look like a prison, more like a clean, corporate facility. Clinical, sanitized. But you could feel the secrecy leaking from the walls. We waited until 2:13 a.m., the only time the patrol did a full rotation away from the western wall. We cut through. Once inside, it felt like entering a different world. The corridors were silent, no voices, no footsteps. Just the distant hum of machines and the flicker of motion-detecting lights. Then we saw it, a door marked Echo Observation B, and below it, 42M Reynolds Maya. The door was locked by a biometric scanner. But Noah was ready. He pulled out a severed thumb from a Ziploc bag. Don't ask, he muttered and pressed it against the pad. Click, door opened. Inside, Maya was there, sitting in a plain white room. Blank walls, no windows. She looked up. And my world stopped. Her face gaunt, pale, but alive, her eyes welled up with tears. David! I ran to her. She collapsed into me. For a moment, the world vanished. All the noise, the horror, the confusion, gone. Then I noticed the marks on her arms. Needle tracks, dozens of them. What did they do to you? I asked. Before she could answer, the alarms began to blare. They knew. We ran. Noah took the lead, firing at shadows as guards closed in. I pulled Maya with me through corridor after corridor until we reached the eastern fence. But as we reached it, she stopped. I can't leave, she said, suddenly shaking. What are you talking about? You don't understand, David. I'm not the same anymore. Noah turned back. What the hell does that mean? She raised her hand, and the metal fence behind her began to vibrate, not from the wind, from her. I hear things, feel things, they're experiments. They did something. They called it echo induction. They awakened something inside of me. I think I can manipulate frequencies, machines, even. She stopped. Her nose bled. I'm a weapon, David. Before I could respond, a helicopter spotlight hit us. Dozens of guards swarmed the forest line. Noah fired, hitting 2 before diving for cover. Then Maya did something I'll never forget. She raised both hands and screamed, but not out loud, inside our heads. The sound tore through the air like a sonic bomb. Windows shattered, lights exploded. The guards dropped, screaming, bleeding from their ears, then silence. She collapsed into my arms. We carried her out. We didn't stop. Not until we reached the car and drove for hours with no destination, no plan, just freedom. Update, it's been 11 days. Maya is stable, but something inside her is changing. She hears thoughts before people speak. Phones glitch around her. She says she dreams of people she's never met and then sees them the next day. We're hiding now, off-grid, but someone is still tracking us. Every few nights we see drones, but we'll keep running. I don't know what Project Echo was trying to create, but I think they succeeded. We've been off-grid for 26 days now. Maya's getting stronger, not just physically, something inside her is evolving. Her skin is warmer than normal. She doesn't sleep more than an hour or 2. Electronics fail around her. Twice now, the power has gone out in an entire town we were passing through, just as she whispered, "Too many eyes." She says she doesn't mean to do it, but I'm not so sure anymore. We're staying in a cabin deep in the Bitterroot Mountains, miles from the nearest road. No internet, no neighbors, just trees, snow, and silence. I thought we'd be safe here. I was wrong. 2 nights ago, Maya sat up in bed suddenly and said, "They're close." I asked who. She stared past me and whispered, "The others." Then she collapsed into seizures. I held her down while her eyes rolled back and she gasped for air like she was drowning. Blood trickled from her nose, and for one terrifying second her pulse stopped. Then she jolted awake and screamed, "I'm not the only one!" When she finally calmed down, she told me everything. The experiments, the Project Echo program, wasn't just about containment. It was training. They were creating echo positives by awakening dormant cognitive frequencies, turning trauma survivors into frequency-sensitive receivers, people who could detect and influence electronic fields, manipulate sound, or even intercept thoughts. She was one of dozens. Many didn't survive, but some did. And those who escaped, they're scattered, and they're calling to each other. Noah disappeared 5 days ago. He'd gone to a nearby town to get supplies, never came back. I found his truck abandoned near a gas station, engine running, but no blood, no signs of struggle. Just one thing on the windshield under the wipers, a sticky note. "Too loud. Maya said she doesn't know what that means, but she's lying. I can feel it. She talks to herself now in her sleep, in other languages. Some I recognize, German, Russian, some I don't. Some I'm not even sure are real. Last night I recorded her whispering in her sleep. When I played it back, the file wouldn't open. Instead, the screen filled with binary code. Just numbers and a single phrase translated in red text at the bottom. The signal is breathing." This morning, Maya wasn't in bed. I found her outside, barefoot in the snow, standing in a clearing, eyes closed. All the birds were silent. The wind had stopped. Then she opened her mouth and began to sing. It wasn't a melody. It was a frequency, deep, vibrating, unnatural. I felt it in my teeth. My vision blurred. My watch exploded on my wrist. Then she stopped and whispered, "They heard that." She came back inside, said she didn't mean to do it, that something is waking up inside her, something ancient. She said echo positives aren't a science experiment, they're a recurrence. A genetic echo from something older than history. Something buried in human consciousness waiting to re-emerge, something buried for a reason. And someone or something is trying to harvest it. Then, just hours ago, we got another voicemail. Not from Maya's number, from mine, my own number, my own voice. "David, don't trust her, she's not Maya anymore." Then a scream, and the line cut off. I confronted her, she didn't deny it. She just looked at me and said, "There was never just one Maya." I don't know what that means. I don't know if the woman I saved is even my wife anymore. But I still love her, or maybe that's part of it too. Maybe the real Maya is long gone, and I'm just part of the frequency now. Update, I don't know how much longer I can post. She's humming constantly now, low and soft. The animals are disappearing from the woods. No birds, no wolves. No sounds at all. The static in the radio has begun whispering my name. Last night I woke up standing outside the cabin. In the snow, no shoes, no memory of walking out. And when I looked down, there were 2 sets of footprints leading away from me. But I was alone, or so I thought. I didn't go back inside the cabin that night. I stood there staring at the snow, 2 sets of footprints. One set mine, boot prints, deep and direct. The other, barefoot, smaller, lighter, but not human, no toes, no arches, just smooth ovals like something sliding just beneath the surface, barely disturbing the snow. I followed them. I don't know why. Maybe I was sleepwalking again. Maybe I was under her influence, or maybe I just had to know. They led deep into the forest, past where the map ends. No cell signal, no signs of wildlife, only trees. And silence, until I found the clearing, roughly 30 feet across, perfect circle. The snow inside was completely melted despite the sub-zero temperature. In the center stood Maya, or what looked like her. But she didn't move, didn't breathe. Just stood, arms at her sides, head tilted. I stepped closer and whispered her name. "Maya." Her head jerked upward, too fast, unnatural. Her eyes weren't hers anymore. Black, shimmering, reflective, like 2 pools of oil. She opened her mouth and static spilled out. Not a voice, not a scream, static. Crackling, buzzing, vibrating the trees. I fell to my knees, ears bleeding. My vision pulsed in black and white. The world shook like it was buffering. Then, just as suddenly, it stopped. She blinked and said something that shattered me. "She doesn't belong in your timeline." I ran. I don't know how I got back. I remember branches whipping my face, blood on my palms, the forest spinning. I remember the sound of her voice in my head over and over. "You were supposed to let her die." When I reached the cabin, she was still inside, the Maya I'd saved. She made me tea, wrapped my cuts, whispered apologies. "I told you, I'm not the same." "What was in the woods?" I demanded. "Was that you, another version of you?" She looked down. I think she's the original." She explained everything that night. The project didn't just awaken frequencies in her mind, it unlocked doors, dimensions, possibilities. Echoes of timelines where different choices were made. She remembers dying in that car crash, but also not dying. She remembers marrying me, but also watching me die in a fire. She remembers being a prisoner in that facility, but also running it. It's not time travel, she said. It's resonance, timelines overlapping, bleeding into each other. Some versions of me are stronger, some are worse. Some never escaped. I asked her again, who left the voicemail, the one that said not to trust you? She looked me in the eyes and said, me. I don't know what to believe anymore. If she's right, I saved a version of Maya that was never meant to survive in this world. And now the timelines are fraying. I see things now. Shadows standing just behind my reflection. My phone rings but shows no number. My voicemail deletes itself every morning before I can listen to the new one. Every message starts the same. David, she's waking up. Last night, I caught her standing at the mirror, whispering. When I asked what she was saying, she said, I'm teaching her how to use your voice. Update, I've started hearing my own voice when I sleep, saying things I never remember, apologizing, threatening, counting down. Today I found a note under my pillow. When the countdown ends, one of you has to leave. There was no handwriting, just typed text, and no paper. It was burned into the wood. Final note before I go dark for a while, she's pregnant, at least. She says she is. But the ultrasound showed no heartbeat, just movement, rhythmic, like a signal pulsing. The doctor said the waves it emitted fried his equipment. He left the clinic and hasn't been seen since.